I believe that the 2020 congressional elections will vastly influence the future of America. Friends, welcome to today's edition of the Patriot Network. This is David Schnitker, your co-host for today's program. Thanks for joining us. I'm joined today by my brother Richard, a patriot in the socialist state of California. The purpose of the Patriot Network is to inform, encourage, and motivate you to become part of the 5 million person strong army of volunteers who are on Team Trump. This is the largest army of volunteers, I believe, in American political history, but we always need more. We should not take anything for granted as it relates to Donald Trump's reelection, because the opposing team will pull out every trick in the book, and they can't compete, so they do cheat. So we don't want to rest on our laurels. We want to continue to build Team Trump. And so these programs, the Patriot Network programs, are to inform and motivate you as a patriot to wage an informational and activist crusade for the very survival of our constitutional republic. So we're working together to reelect Donald J. Trump so he can continue to drain the swamp and keep America great. These Patriot Network programs will also be providing information about pro-Trump congressional candidates who will together take back the House and keep the Senate on the Trump team. And this program is going to be heard on Tuesday, March the 3rd. This is Super Tuesday. So today we're going to focus not only on the Democrat frontrunners for president, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're also going to key in on some of the vital congressional races. And we want to highlight some candidates who are worthy of your support. And as we progress during election season, I'm sure there will be other worthy candidates that we will highlight as well. But we want to just begin with some of the really, I think, outstanding Republican candidates that we want to see in Congress. So, Richard, welcome back to the Patriot Network.
Glad to be back. It's a beautiful day, 75 degrees here in Northern California.
Wonderful. Well, we want to start off by asking you to remind our readers of the Facebook page that you have created for those who are Trump supporters. Tell us about the Patriot Network Facebook page.
I try to keep the posts short, mostly videos, under 3-minute videos. The things that you're not going to see on the left-wing media.
Okay, the Patriot Network Facebook page. I go to that Facebook page regularly, and they are great videos. One that I saw recently had the contrast between the March for Life. Several attendees were interviewed, and then those who were part of the Women's March. And it's a very striking contrast in terms of the worldview and values at these two different marches. So that's just one of the informative videos on the Patriot Network Facebook page. Well, Richard, we're going to start today by talking about the clown show. We want to have fun on this program. And there's a clown show. It's a Democrat presidential lineup. And I don't pay too much attention to the debates because I don't have an iron stomach and I might get sick. But I watched the little excerpts, and this latest one, this latest clown contest. I mean, it looked like a bunch of first graders where the teacher had left the room, and they're talking over each other, they're yelling, they're raising their hands. Yeah. They're just going crazy with each other. But I would like you to talk about two of the seemingly emerging favorites in this Democrat clown show, and that is Michael Bloomberg, or we say Mike. He's changed his name, Mike Bloomberg.
Yeah, Mini Mike is President Trump.
Mini Mike, and then Bolshevik Bernie Sanders. Tell us about these individuals.
Well, Bloomberg video was just came out where he was talking about black and Hispanic males between the ages of 16, 25, and 25 that don't have jobs. Listen to this. He says they don't have any prospects for jobs, don't know how to find jobs, don't know what their skill sets are, and don't know how to behave in the workplace. Oh, Lord.
Oh, well, it seems like all they would be good for is throwing up against the wall and frisking. Do you think? I think that's what Bloomberg thinks we should do.
That last one, but don't know how to behave in the workforce. Oh, gosh. He just lost the black and Hispanic vote.
Yeah, he really did. And he also said when he was mayor, he said that he put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods because that's where all the crime was. Now, if that isn't racist, I don't know what racism is.
Right. And he goes, we don't need to stop white people. We need to stop more black and Hispanics, people of color.
That's going to win him the black vote for sure. And the Latinos are going to be flocking to Bloomberg after hearing that.
Right. And Bernie's not any better. Bernie comes out. He just hired a Jewish outreach director, even though he's a well-known atheist. And, of course, Bloomberg's a Jewish,
Yeah, he's an atheist, too.
Yeah, and he's also atheist. He says, so now we have a communist Jew against a billionaire Jew, and he says both of them are anti-Semites. So you can't make this stuff. Every time they open their mouth, it's just a total disaster.
And, of course, Bolshevik Sanders is an admirer of Fidel Castro's literacy program. He's come out.
Bernie's rally yesterday in El Paso, the speaker that was introducing him, he screams out to the crowd. He goes, "Are you ready for a socialist revolution?" And the crowd cheers. So basically, they're not hiding it anymore.
No, it's out in the open. Yeah, he's the Marxist candidate. And he's a great admirer of Fidel Castro. I guess the people that Castro didn't kill or imprison, he helped them learn how to read and write.
Yeah, he learned. I saw today that they're having a kind of resolution in Congress to censor Bernie for his remarks about Castro in Cuba. We'll see how the vote goes.
Yeah, it'll probably be a straight party line vote. All the Democrats will vote against it. All the Republicans will vote for it.
Right.
And Bernie will continue to just spout off his pro-communist stuff.
Exactly.
Well, let's transition now and talk about some of the key congressional races. And I'll start off by talking about Kendra Horn, the 5th District Congressman elected in 2018. Now, this strikes close to home because I'm a proud Oklahoman and I reside in the 5th District. And Kendra Horn's election was a real surprise to many conservatives and Republicans. And I pulled an article from the New York Times that gave some inside information as to how this Kendra Horn, who never held a public office before, how she won over Steve Russell, who had been elected twice, was a good conservative Republican, a military officer. And this article is entitled, How Michael Bloomberg Used His Money to Aid Democratic Victories in the House. Let me just quote from it briefly. A week before the November 6th election, Kendra Horn, a Democratic House candidate in Oklahoma, received unexpected good news. And that is that Michael Bloomberg had purchased more than $400,000 in advertising on Oklahoma City television. Still, Mrs. Horn's campaign, or Miss Horn, she's a lesbian, Miss Horn's campaign did not realize just how big a boost it was receiving. The ad was not just a general get-out-the-vote message supporting Democrats, as they had assumed. Instead, it attacked her Republican opponent, the incumbent Steve Russell, on his education record. So with just days to go before the election and Miss Horn fighting an uphill battle in a deeply conservative state, Mr. Bloomberg's group had effectively doubled the television spending on her behalf, catching Mr. Russell flat-footed and unable to respond. So Miss Horn, who had trailed in both the local poll and in Bloomberg's internal polling, won by a mere 3,338 votes. So here we have Kendra Horn, who, by the way, her advertising flyers, which we received many, did not even reveal the fact that she was a Democrat. So we didn't know.
Yeah, they never do that. I've noticed even on their websites, they never reveal what the party they are.
Right.
We're on the Republicans. They're always upfront about it. So they're hiding from who they are,
right.
Who they actually are.
So we didn't know she was a Democrat. We certainly didn't know she was a lesbian until her lesbian lover was present at her swearing in. And so Bloomberg bought her, just as he bought so many other races. Now, let me tell you quickly about her voting record, without giving a lot of detail. There's an organization called the Liberty Score. Conservative Review publishes this on all the Congress critters. And Kendra Horn scores a perfect 0 in terms of Liberty votes. Of course, she voted to advance the impeachment against Trump. She voted for illegal amnesty. She suspended the debt ceiling. She, of course, helped pass the Equality Act, which gives LGBT people superior rights. Terrible, terrible bill. She is anti-border wall. Everything that a conservative would be for, she has voted against, so she has earned a perfect 0 on the Liberty Score. Now, let me quickly tell you about how we're going to take care of this problem. There's several good Republicans running for office, and the primary today will determine who wins on the Republican side. But the leading candidate on the Republican side, the one who I support, is Terry Nice. Now, Terry is a woman, and let me just tell you quickly a little bit about her. She's a third-generation Oklahoman. She's conservative Republican. She's a successful entrepreneur. She's been a business owner for many, many years. And the company that she works for has found and created thousands of jobs for men and women in Oklahoma and across the nation. She stands for all the things that you would want for a conservative. She wants to unleash our economy by cutting burdensome tax regulations, more tax cuts. She wants that. She wants to secure our borders, which I think every Trump conservative is in favor of. She wants to cut the national debt. She wants to kill every vestige of the Affordable Care Act and fix our broken healthcare system. She wants to preserve the Second Amendment, and she wants to support our veterans. So I'm supporting Terry Nice for the 5th District in Oklahoma, whether you live in the 5th District or not. If you would go to Terry Nice, that's TerriNeese, and make a contribution to encourage Terry Nice. I'm confident she's going to win this primary. And we're hoping that with the increased turnout in 2020, that Terry will be swept into office and Kendra Horn will be swept out like a bad dream. So we're going to take a quick time out now to hear from our sponsor. We have a wonderful sponsor, Jingo's, an all-purpose cleaner. And so let's take a quick time out to hear from our sponsor. We are so excited to partner with a new commercial sponsor to help us with the costs of these podcasts. Our new sponsor is Jingo's. As it says on the bottle, Jingo's is an ultra stain remover and odor eliminator. It attacks organic stains and odors. The enzyme action converts properties, and it is environmentally and user-friendly. We use this in our house, and take it from me, this stuff really works. Plus, by buying Jingo's, you not only help yourself, but you help us stay on the air. One satisfied customer writes, I want to give a positive review on a product that surprised me. I knew that Jingo's worked on stains because it had gotten blood out of my son's shirt. But I would have never thought that it would get the fish smell off the dog. My daughter's dog must have found a dead fish down by the pond. She was very proud of her new smell, so she shared it by rubbing it in the living room carpet. After reading reviews of how Jingo's remove skunk smell off someone's dog, I thought I would give it a chance. Not only did it get rid of the fish smell off the dog, it eliminated the fish odor in the carpet as well. Thank you for the great stain and smell remover. This is from Dr. Luke S., Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Thank you, Doctor. Please stay tuned for more details.
By jingoes, it's amazingly fresh and clean out here in beautiful New Zealand. G'day America, I'm Tarby, and I want to tell you about my new ultimate stain and odour remover, Jingoes. My Jingoes gunk gobblers will tackle stubborn organic stains and eliminate nasty stinking odours at the same time. Jingoes effectively removes those little accidents like wine, coffee, dirt, blood, grass, even pet stains, and odours like fish, garlic, even skunk. Jingoes is environmentally friendly, safe for use on fabrics, carpet, upholstery, and it works great as a laundry pre-soak on the worst pet or people accidents. Come on America, what are you waiting for? Just go online and order your Jingoes for $12.95 and get a 4-ounce travel pack free. Crikey, pay $19.95 and I'll double your order. That's 2 large Jingoes and 2 travel packs for just $19.95. Blasted seagulls, where's my Jingoes?
Welcome back. We have been talking with Richard Schnitger, U.S. military veteran and conservative political activist in California. Well, Richard, let's switch gears and talk about some of the hot congressional races. Let's start off with Darrell Issa in California.
Well, Darrell Issa retired, didn't run in 2018, and decided to come back. He was the chairman of the Oversight Committee, so he's a powerful man. So he's running he was in District 50, now he's running in District 49. That was where Duncan Hunter resigned a few months back. So it's a Republican district. He'll win that one back. I don't know how easy it is, but I think he'll run that back. And we have, this is an exciting one here, the 25th Congressional District. This was freshman Katie Hill. She resigned after the allegation of having an affair with one of her women staffers, and a nude picture surfaced on the internet. The primary is coming up March 3rd.
She had an abbreviated career, didn't she? Maybe she'll have a new career as a result of these pictorial revelations.
Yeah, I read something the other day that now somebody on her campaign is under investigation by FBI for campaign fraud, stealing some money out of the campaign. So it looks like the whole campaign has been a fraud from the beginning. But we have District 25, which is going to be an interesting race. We have Sert Euler from the Young Turks. Oh yeah, Turks. I'm sorry.
Yes, Turks. We got to get that right.
Turks. He's a wild man. If you remember his meltdown when President Trump got elected.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Well, he's running against George Papadopoulos.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah, George from. I think he was sentenced to. He was in the Russia investigation.
Yes, the big Russia hoax.
It had nothing to do with President Trump, but he basically they trapped him in a lie. Did 14 days in jail, at a cost of $2 million investigation. So yeah, he's running in that race. The primary will be March 3rd.
That's today. When this is heard, it's primary day today. So we want to encourage everyone in District 25 to get out and vote for George Papadopoulos.
Right. I think these two have a chance of actually winning the primary and maybe going up against each other.
That'd be great. Anything else you want to talk about George Papadopoulos? I'm sure he's a big pro-Trump guy. I didn't even know he was from California. I had no idea. I did not know that either. Well,
I thought he was a New Yorker.
Isn't that great? Well, I want to talk about another California candidate, a young lady. Her name is Deanna Lorraine. I'm sure you've heard of her. She's running against Nancy Pelosi in San Francisco.
Right.
Wow, what a gutsy woman she is. Let me tell you a little bit about Deanna Lorraine. She's a popular YouTube host, a conservative political commentator, author of Making Love Great Again, and host of her own show, Winning the Culture War. She is a congressional candidate. She's running against Nancy Pelosi, and this gal is a gutsy woman. She recently hired an airplane to fly over San Francisco, and I think it said something like, put Pelosi in jail. Oh, Pelosi.
Right.
Pelosi.
Right. She had a big banner behind it.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi for prison.
It's beautiful. Yes, Nancy Pelosi for prison.
Right, and she flew it over San Francisco, and she's done it repeatedly since that time. So Deanna Lorraine is a gutsy woman. She is well-spoken. Unlike a nervous Nancy, Deanna Lorraine can actually put sentences together. Let me just read from her platform a little bit. She says, I support our President Donald J. Trump and his America First agenda. I believe his heart is in the right place and is overall taking our country in the right direction. I'm a very proud American, conservative. I come from a family of Italian and Spanish hardworking business owners. I was born and raised in California and am committed to making California great, safe, and prosperous again. Some of the planks on her campaign: she supports a border wall and a tight, common-sense border security and immigration policy. She supports jobs. She says, let's get the homeless and unemployed off the streets, off of government dependencies, and into jobs. And she supports fixing the massive opioid crisis. She's for reducing human and sex trafficking, and most importantly, she's pro-Second Amendment. So Deanna Lorraine is a woman to watch. Obviously, she's going up against a very strong political machine, the Pelosi mafia machine. It's going to be an uphill battle for her in this most liberal district of San Francisco. But good on her for having the guts to stand up against this criminal mafia woman. So Deanna Lorraine, remember her. Now, the last one I want to talk about real quickly, another gutsy young woman, is Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer is running for the 21st District in Florida. And perhaps some of our listeners are familiar with Laura Loomer. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She's 26 years old. She's a Jewish conservative investigative journalist and activist. She was an undercover journalist for Project Veritas. And she has had investigations that have uncovered fraud and corruption. She has traveled all over the world and done ambush interviews, including some of the people that we all know and love, such as Hillary Clinton, Chelsea Clinton, Huma Abedin, James Comey, Maxine Waters, Ilhan Omar, etc. So she is one gutsy woman. In fact, some of our listeners may remember that Laura Loomer broke into Nancy Pelosi's mansion and brought some illegal immigrants with her, and they were setting up a tent. They were going to have a tent city. And strangely enough, the cops came and they took them all off the property. So Laura Loomer is a very gutsy, very articulate, photogenic young lady. She's running for Congress, Florida's 21st District, where she does reside, and she is a pro-Trump, pro-American lady. So keep your eye on Laura Loomer in Florida's 21st Congressional District.
Yeah, the Republicans, the GOP's got over 100 women running for congressional seats in the primaries across the country.
I thought the Republicans were sexist. Isn't that what we've heard about Trump and Republican leadership?
You know how they are. You know.
Well, who's the RNC chairman?
The Democrats say it.
Isn't the RNC chairman Ronna McDaniel a woman?
Right. Here's a funny fact that I had just learned the other day. Is you know, they always say that the Republicans party is a bunch of old white men. The average age of the Democrat House is 72 years old. The average age of the GOP is 45.
Wow.
But they were the old white men.
Huge difference. Well, look at the Democrat leaders for the presidency. You've got 78-year-old Bernie, Bolshevik Bernie, 78-year-old Mini Mike, and I think 78-year-old slow Joe Biden. Three old white men.
Right. You heard Joe the other day. He's on the debate the other night. He said over 150 million Americans have been killed by guns since 2007. Well, no wonder there's no traffic jams. Half the population,
half the country killed by guns. Well, he also switched races. He admitted the other day in a campaign stop that he's running for the United States Senate.
Right, against another guy named Joe Biden.
It's another guy named Joe Biden.
Yeah, he goes, if you don't like me, then vote for the other guy named Biden.
No, for the other guy. So I guess he's hedging his bets. If he doesn't win the presidency, he at least wants to be back in the United States Senate.
Exactly. It's amazing that nobody calls him out on any of this. None of them. The media never calls him out. Oh, it's sad. The guy needs to go home, put on his sandals, and go sit on the beach and retire.
He really does. But if he ran for the Senate, he'd have to decide what state he's running in, and half the time he doesn't know where he's at.
No, he doesn't. I'm in Idaho. No, you're in Iowa.
Well, he thought he was in Vermont, but no, he thought he was in Connecticut, but he was in Vermont. So I think if he retired, I'm not sure if he knows where his home is. I think his wife, Dr. Jill, would have to take him by the hand and lead him back home.
Well, I think Dr. Jill is trying to keep him in so her family and most of his family won't go to prison.
I think that's it.
I figure if he gets elected president, then he won't prosecute or investigate all the family members that are working out of the Ukraine.
I think he wants to stay in long enough so they can all get out of the country. Fly to Belize or New Zealand or something.
Oh, it's a total mess. I think we're going to take the House back. Nancy Pelosi will retire. I saw her yesterday talking about the coronavirus. Gosh, she looked like she has the coronavirus. Looks like she hadn't slept in 6 months. She looked horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, she'll retire. She's not going to give up that seat twice and stay on in the Congress.
Right. So, in other words, if they lose the House, she'll just retire.
Yeah, she'll just go home.
Yeah. Well, I think
that gives the GOP a good chance of winning her seat.
It really does. Wouldn't that be great to have Deanna Lorraine representing San Francisco?
Oh, yeah.
They might actually get that city cleaned up. Boy, wouldn't that be amazing?
And this walkaway movement is being. The media is saying it's nothing but a bunch of Russian trolls and bots. But they're real people, and they're walking away by the millions. They're just sick of the hate,
I heard
violence.
Brendan Straka is at the CPAC, and he was interviewed, saw the interview, and he's there. He told his story, and there is an organization. He says we have 500,000 people who have declared that they're walking away from the Democrat Party, and he says there's still a lot of people in the closet that have walked away, and they just haven't gone public yet.
Right. That's 500,000 that have made videos or statements on Facebook or Twitter that they've walked away. But a few months back, I heard that he was considering running against AOC. He does live in her district.
Yes, I've heard that also. We'll have to check into that and report on that next time.
Yeah. It'd be an easy win.
Oh, it would.
They took a poll there. They said 50% of the people in her district didn't even know who she was, and her approval rating was 17%. So, he's a smart, intelligent, gay man, very articulate. He could easily win that seat.
Absolutely, and he's nationally known now because he's the founder of the Walkaway movement.
Oh, yeah.
So he would have all kinds of support.
I've actually talked to him.
Oh, you have?
Sorry, go ahead.
You've talked to him?
Yeah, I've talked to him a couple times when he first started the Walkaway movement. I text him and then or message him and talk to him on the phone about doing some work with him. And then there was a GOP chairmanship here in California, and he was at the rally, so I went up and talked to him. It's a good man.
That's great. Richard, it looks like we're out of time for today. Thanks for joining us for this edition of the Patriot Network. Remind our listeners before you leave about your Facebook page, what is it called, and also give the text number to volunteer for Team Trump.
The Facebook page is called the Patriot Network, and if you want to volunteer for the Team Trump, help him get reelected, also as to take back the House, text Trump to 88022. That's Trump 88022. Thank you, David.
Great. Thanks for being with us. Well, friends, thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, this is David Schnitker. Thanks for listening.